all the activities of the living entity. 5 factors. First, what we discussed yesterday was one who has not been educated or trained to be detached, what he has to experience. He has to experience Ishtam, Anishtam, Mishram cha. 3 kinds of reactions. And each action is propelled by 5 factors. What are the 5 factors? Quickly, then we move forward. Yes, Sonika.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. First was body, second was soul, third was our senses, fourth was our endeavors, and fifth was super soul.
Very good. Excellent. 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 So these 5 factors cause all the right actions which are prescribed in the scriptures, and also the wrong action which are opposed by the scriptures, and how the human form of body a person performs by his mind, by his speech, and by his body. Mansa, Vacha, and Karmana. We covered yesterday till 16.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we'll take the 17th word. 16th one was the doership. Therefore, one who thinks himself the only doer, not considering the 5 factors, is certainly not very intelligent and cannot see things they are. And the 17th verse where Krishna says, Yasya nahang prito bhavo buddhir yasya na lipyate hatvapi sa imallokan nahanti na nibhadyate. So the 16th verse was talking about one who is motivated by his ahankar. So he considers himself to be the doer. But in the 17th verse, Krishna is speaking about one who is not guided by his ahankar or false ego, one who is not motivated by false ego, whose intelligence is not entangled. Buddhir yasya na lipyate, is not attached to matter or is not entangled. Hatva api sa iman loke. Hatva, you know, hatva ta nat taina, which Arjuna spoke. Hatva means to kill. Though he kills man in this world, does not kill. Na hanti, na nibhadyate. Very similar to what Krishna spoke in the 2nd chapter, when he was speaking on the qualities of the soul. Nor is he bound by his actions. Very interesting. Even if he kills, he is not killing. And even if he kills, he is not bound by reaction of his action. Why? Let us understand from Srila Prabhupada's purport. This is the non-doer mentality. In this verse, the Lord informs Arjuna that the desire not to fight arises from false ego. So Krishna is directly instigating Arjuna. Arjuna thought himself to be the doer of action, but he did not consider the supreme sanction within and without. What is within is super soul. And what is without? What is without? The other factors. The other 3 factors. If one does not know that a super sanction is there, why should he act? But one who knows the instrument of work, himself as the worker, and the Supreme Lord and the Supreme Sanctioner is perfect in doing everything, such a person is never in illusion. So he knows 3 things. He knows himself, that is the soul. He knows the super soul, and he also knows the Karanam, body. And how body works? Through the influence of the three modes. Such a person is never in illusion. Personal activity and responsibility arise from false ego and godlessness. Very, very powerful statement. Just see what Srila Prabhupada is speaking. People have burdened themselves with self-created duties and self-created responsibilities. So Prabhupada is speaking here, personal activity. What is personal activity? Where the center is the self. Let me make my career. Let me make my family. Let me make my society. So what is this? This is all personal activity. And in regard to that, whatever self-created responsibility he imposes upon himself. So Prabhupada is saying, arises from false ego and godlessness. And lack of Krishna consciousness. Anyone who is acting in Krishna consciousness under the direction of Super Soul or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even though killing does not kill. Why? Because he is acting as an instrument. Like a knife. If someone murders with a knife, have you ever heard that the knife has been, held responsible for the killing? Or someone kills with the gun. Has the court ever sentenced that this gun should be punished? Actually, how the person gets killed? By the shot of the gun. But is the gun, the instrument, ever held responsible? No. So if we are working or we are acting under instructions and direction, we are just mere instruments. So we will, and if we are under spiritual guidance, under spiritual instructions, there is no question of any reaction. Why? Because we are mere instruments being used. A perfect example is like a gun or a knife. Is it ever held responsible for killing anyone? Never. Even though killing does not kill, nor is he ever affected by the reactions of such killing. When a soldier kills under the command of a superior officer, Prabhupada makes it more clear. He is not subject to be judged. But if a soldier kills on his own personal account, then he is certainly judged by the court of law. Clear? So in all of our own, what is the mentality? Doership. And as we have the mentality of doership, the mentality of enjoyer is bound to come. It is inseparable. And as Prabhupada is saying, both arise from false ego and godlessness or lack of Krishna consciousness. So one who is not acting under instructions, who is not acting under direction, what will he be doing? What is he performing? He is performing personal activity. Now Krishna will speak about the motivators of action. How one performs action. Krishna gave the 5 factors behind the action. Now from the 18th verse, he'll speak about the 3 motivators of action. Jnanam geyam parignata trividha karma chodana karanam karma karteti trividha karma sangraha. The first motivating factor is jnanam, knowledge. And geya, we have discussed that. Where we have discussed jnanam and geya. We have discussed in detail what is jnanam and geya.
13th chapter.
Yes, 13th chapter. Prakritim purusham cheva Kshetra Kshetra Garodcha Etad Viditum Ichchami Jnanam Gyam Cha Keshava. So Arjuna was inquisitive. He asked 3 topics and 6 subjects. Prakriti and Purusha, nature and enjoyer, Kshetra and Kshetragya. And he also inquired about Jnanam and Gya. What is the purpose of Gyan? Is to know the object. So the first item is knowledge. That which propels or motivates one to perform action is based on his knowledge. Jnana. Gya is the object of knowledge. And Parignata is the knower. These are 3 factors. Trividha karma chodana are the 3 factors that motivate actions. The senses, the work, and the doer are the 3 constituents of action. Karanam, karma, karta iti. Karta iti. That is, the senses, the work, and the doer are the 3 constituents of action. There are 3 kinds of impetus for daily work. Knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower. The instrument of work and the work itself and the worker are called the constituents of work. Any work done by any human being has 3 elements. Before one acts, there is some impetus which is called inspiration. Or it could be called desire. Any solution arrived at before work is actualized in the subtle form of work. Then work takes the form of action. First, one has to undergo the psychological processes of thinking, feeling, and willing, and that is called impetus. The inspiration to work is the same if it comes from the scriptures or from the instructions of the spiritual master. When the inspiration is there and the worker is there, then actual activity takes place by the help of the senses, including the mind, which is the center for all the senses. The sum total of all the constituents of activity are called the accumulation of work. This is more of an information for us that how we perform action or activity. There are 3 factors for motivation and 3 constituents of action. And everything is under the influence of the 3 modes. So Krishna will explain about it. Don't worry. Don't scratch your head. What is this? I'm not getting a clue of it. It will become more clearer as we move ahead. So Krishna will explain all the 3 in detail. Jnanam karma, 19th verse. Jnanam karma cha karta cha trideva guna bhedata prochoyate guna sankhena yathavakshunutani api. So karma jnana cha karta. So 3 actions. Karma, jnanam, and karta. They are in 3 divisions. 3 Tridha eva guna bhedata. Tridha eva guna bhedata. So they are also classified on the basis of 3 modes. According to the 3 different modes of material nature, there are 3 kinds of knowledge, action, and performer of action. Now hear of them from me. In the 14th chapter, the 3 divisions of the modes of material nature was elaborately described. In that chapter, it was said that the mode of goodness is illuminating, The mode of passion, materialistic, and the mode of ignorance, conducive to laziness and indolence. All the modes of material natures are binding. They are not source of liberation. Even in the mode of goodness, one is conditioned. In the 17th chapter, the different types of worship by different type of men in different modes of material nature were described. In this verse, the Lord says that he wishes to speak about the different types of knowledge, worker, and work itself according to the three modes. So Krishna will explain now. First, he will explain Jnanam. Sarvabhuteshu yenekam bhavam abhyam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu tadjnanam vidhi satvikam. Sarvabhuteshu yenekam. Sarvabhuteshu means in all the living entities. That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities. Though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. Let us understand this. So what one sees? The undivided spiritual nature in all living entities. Krishna has already spoken about this verse. Where? In the 5th chapter. Which verse is this? Krishna says one who is in knowledge Samadarshina. Sarvabhuteshu yenekam bhavam abhyam ikshate avibhaktam vibhakteshu. Although they are divided, but he sees the undivided spirit in all of them. What he sees the undivided spirit? Pandita Samadarshina. Vidya Vinay Sampanne Brahmani Gavi Hastina Shuni Cheva Sopakecha Pandita Samadarshina. What is this Samadarshi? Is Avibhakteshu Vibhakteshu. A person who sees one spirit soul in every living being, whether a demigod, same verse, human being, animal, bird, beast, aquatic or plant, possesses knowledge in the mode of goodness. In all the living entities, one spirit soul is there, although they have different bodies in terms of their previous works. So he sees the spirit soul in every body. He is not enamored by the external appearance, which is the body, but he sees within the body the spiritual spark, which is the same in every body. As described in the 7th chapter, the manifestation of the living force in every body is due to the superior nature of the Supreme Lord. Thus, to see that one superior nature, that living force in every body, is to see in the mode of goodness. That living energy is imperishable, although the bodies are perishable. Differences are perceived in terms of the body because there are many forms of material existence in conditioned life, and the living force appears to be divided. Such impersonal knowledge is an aspect of self-realization. So he is not enamored by the external manifestation, which is the body, but within the body he is able to perceive the spirit that is so. So that means he is in knowledge. And what kind of knowledge? Sato Gun Gyan. Sato Gun Gyan can lead up to what level? Is up to Brahman realization. What Prabhupada is speaking here is Brahman realization, the impersonal aspect. Nothing beyond. The Sat, the eternal feature he can realize. Okay? Any questions so far, or we proceed? Krishna is summarizing, he is giving the conclusion to what all he has already spoken. Prithakvena, see the next verse, 21st. Prithakvena tu yadgyanam nana bhavan prithakvidhan veti sarveshu bhuteshu tadgyanam vidirajasa. The previous was ekatvena. Ekatvena anupashyati. But here it is prithakvena. Prithakvena means he sees the differences. Why? Because of his Rajasi breathing. Because of his passion. So that knowledge by which one sees in every different body, there is different type of living entity. You should understand to be in the mode of passion. That means he is more attracted by the outward appearance. He cannot see inside that there is the same spirit soul which is inside everybody. The concept that the material body is the living entity and that with the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed is called knowledge in the mode of passion. Vasmi bhutasya dehino punaragamano kuta yava jivet sukham divet rinam kritva hitam pivet Bhasmi bhutasya dehina punaragamano kuta. So in the mode of goodness, when one is completely illusioned and enamored for sense gratification and sense enjoyment, he just cannot accept that once the body is burned or is destroyed, how can one come back? How can one have another body? So the conception that the material body of the living entity and that the destruction of the body, the consciousness is also destroyed is called knowledge in the mode of passion. So once the body is burned, how can one come back? So he has no knowledge of the soul and the characteristic of the soul, that is consciousness. According to that knowledge, bodies differ from one because of the development of different types of consciousness. Otherwise, there is no separate soul which manifests consciousness. The body is itself the soul. This is Rajoga. And there is no separate soul beyond the body. According to such knowledge, consciousness is temporary. Once Prabhupada asked one Father Daniel in Paris, Prabhupada challenged him. Prabhupada said that if you are Christians, that means you follow Christ. And he said, yes, we follow Christ. Prabhupada said, how can you claim that you follow Christ? When the first commandment, Lord Jesus Christ says, thou shalt not kill. And I see in the West, in your country, and in all the European countries and the America, there is so much of slaughtering of poor animals. So how can you say that you are the follower of Christ? So that father, he said, but my dear sir, the animals do not have soul. So there is nothing wrong to kill them and consume them. And where did he derive such conclusion? Based on this knowledge of Rajoga, of matter and mind. They don't believe in the existence of soul. The body itself is the soul, and there is no separate soul beyond the body. According to such knowledge, consciousness is temporary, or else there is no individual soul. But there is an all-pervading soul, which is full of knowledge, and this body is the manifestation of temporary ignorance. Or beyond this body, there is no special individual or supreme soul. All such conceptions are considered products of the mode of passion. So all so-called modern education is a product of the mode of passion. where there is no acceptance of the existence of soul or the super soul. The body itself is considered to be the soul, is the Atma. Any question or any clarification required? Yes, Devadatta.
Prabhuji, the second last sentence, or else there is no individual souls, but there is an all-pervading souls. यहाँ पे all pervading souls जो mention कर रहे हैं मतलब wrong conception के sense में बोल रहे हैं किस
No,
sense
they are
में बोल
not
रहे हैं?
considering. See, Prabhupada's statement, Prabhupada is condemning them and Prabhupada is also presenting what is right. You see from here. The body itself, the soul, and there is no separate soul beyond the body. So this is their knowledge. According to such knowledge, consciousness is temporary, or else there is no individual soul. Prabhupada says this is their thinking. This is their source of knowledge or understanding. But there is an all-pervading soul. Even if they deny it, it does not mean that if they deny, this all-pervading soul does not exist, which is full of knowledge. So this is, Prabhupada is saying this is the real view, but they do not have the actual view. And this body is the manifestation of temporary ignorance. This is the proper philosophy. Or beyond this body, they are thinking beyond this body, there is no special individual or supreme soul. All such conceptions are conditioned products of the mode of passion. So in between, Prabhupada is quoting the right philosophy and Prabhupada is comparing and exposing them that they do not have this understanding. They completely lack this understanding. So what kind of knowledge is guiding them? It is material knowledge, which is in the mode of passion. The passion means what? What is the characteristic of passion? One is in the bodily conception of life. One who is very much entangled in the bodily conception of life, he cannot understand the difference between body and soul. It's just not possible for him. Okay. So we'll move to the next verse. The third kind of knowledge. Yattu Krishnavat ekasmin karya saktam ahetukam atatva arthvat alpam cha atatva arthvat alpam cha tattamsam udaratam yattu Krishnavat ekasmin karya saktam ahetukam. Saktam means attachment. And that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all. Without knowledge of the truth, that is very beautifully explained here. Tattvavit means to know things as they are. Tattvavit. Tattvit tu mahabhav guna guneshu vartate. That is in the third chapter Krishna speaks. Tattvit means who knows the real difference. But here is a tattva arthavat. That means without knowledge of the truth, a tattvavat, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness. Meager means less. And what is the word? Alpam cha. Alpam is very less, or very minuscule or minute. That knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, atattva artvat, and which is very meager, alpamcha, is said to be in the mode of darkness. So one who is not in knowledge, he is obviously in the mode of darkness. The knowledge of the common man is always in the mode of darkness. Prabhupada begins by a slap. Prabhupada says, the knowledge of the common man is always in the mode of darkness. Not sometimes, always. Because every living entity in conditioned life is born in the mode of ignorance. Actually, a Vaishnava accepts that. That is why we invoke the Mangalacharan, Om Ajnana Timirandhasya. That I was born in the darkness of ignorance. Prabhupada always said, yes, we were all born in the darkness of ignorance. But why should we remain in ignorance? We should receive the knowledge from the Supreme Lord and remove our ignorance. Because every living entity's conditioned life is born in the mode of ignorance. One who does not develop knowledge through the authorities of scripture and injunctions has knowledge that is limited to the body. He is not concerned about acting in terms of the directions of scriptures. For him, God is money. This is what common man says. God is money. And knowledge means the satisfaction of bodily demand. What does it mean, God is money? Why Prabhupada has to write like this? God is money. What it
Because
means?
one prays for money.
Huh?
Because one prays for money or
Yes.
something material.
The only reason one approaches God is to receive resources from Him. And the most sought after resource is money. So God means He will give us all our desire fulfilling opportunities. Then He is God. God means power. And power means that you fulfill our desires. Such knowledge has no connection with the absolute truth. It is more or less like the knowledge of the ordinary animal. Prabhupada makes it even more insulting. Such knowledge is like the knowledge of ordinary animals. The knowledge of eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. Such knowledge is described here as the product of mode of darkness. In other words, knowledge concerning the spirit soul beyond this body is called knowledge in the mode of goodness. As I said, the Brahma Gyan. Sato-gun Gyan can go only up to Brahma Gyan. Knowledge producing many theories and doctrines by dint of mundane logic and mental speculation is the product in the mode of passion. So all the philosophers, research scientists, big innovations, all of it, the knowledge is in the mode of passion. And knowledge concerned only with keeping the body comfortable. Mode of passion means at the land of mind and intellect. And only at the level of senses, that means only for sense gratification or sense enjoyment. For bodily comfort is said to be in the mode of ignorance. So Krishna has delineated knowledge in three modes. Okay? Oh, it is already 9. So I'll take the recitation. Any question? Yes, Sonika? Boli?
Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you have explained that in previous sloka you have explained that working for society is a personal action. How, Prabhuji?
Working in society based on what? On body. Like social worker. What is it? It is the extension of the self. He is not working for spiritual society. As social welfare workers, NGOs. So what is the extension? It is all based on skin disease. Prabhupada says that. See, normally a person is self-centered, his own individual. But as his family grows, then he identifies his family with himself. My son, my wife, my father. It is the extension of the self. And even when he reaches a certain level in the society, he starts to think about the society. But what is the basis? The basis is the temporary body, not on the basis of soul. Real welfare is what? To connect a soul to Krishna. That is the ultimate welfare. That is the spiritual compassion. Other people, give charity, they open education institute, they open medical institutes. So many things they are providing. But what Srila Prabhupada says? Will it give salvation to the soul? No. They have no conception. They have no understanding either of the soul or what to speak of salvation. So they are all based on personal activity. Prabhupada says it is godlessness or lack of Krishna consciousness. Real benefit only can be given if one brings Krishna in the picture. Does it make sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else? I will keep the pace now, because I won't be able to complete. Some days I won't be able to take class. So I have to cover up. There are 78 verses. And then, later verses will require some more discussion and detailing. Modes we have, we have covered. This we have all covered. Nothing new Krishna is speaking in the 18th chapter. All which he has already given and explained. Okay. Let us recite the 15th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhamula Madhashakham Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasparnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved Adhaschaurdam Pratatastasya Shakha Guna Pravala. Adhaschaurdam Pratatastasya Shakha Guna Pravidha Vishaya Pravala Adhascha Mulani Anushantatani Karmanubandheni Manushya Loke Narupamase Tatopalabhyate Nanto Nachadir Nacha Sampratishta Ashwatiyenam Savirudha Moolam Asanga Shastrena Dridena Chitva Tata Padam Tat Parimargitavyam Yasmin Gatana Nivartanti Puya Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadde Yata Pravritti Prasata Purani Nirmana Moha Jita Sanga Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivrita Kama Dvande Vimukta Sukhdok Sange Gachanti Amudha Padama Vyantar Na Tadvasate Suryo Na Shashanko Na Pavuka Yadgatvana Nivartante Tadhamam Paramam Mama Mamevamsho Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashashtani Indriyani प्रकृति स्थाने कर्षति शारीरम यद अवाप्नोति यच्चापि उत्क्रमत ईश्वर गृहीत्वेतानि संयाति वायुर्गंधानि वाशयेत् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं ग्रहणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चाय विषयानुपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानान् वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषा यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्ति आत्मनि अवस्थितं यतन्तोऽपि यत्कृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यति अचेतसा यद् आदित्यागतं तेजो जगद्भास्यते अखिलं यच्चन्द्रमति यच्चाग्नो तत्तेजो विधि मामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयामि अहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधी सर्वा सुमो भूत्वा रसात्मकः अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रिता प्राणापान समायुक्ता पचामि अन्नं चतुर्विधा सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम् द्वैमा पुरुषा लोके शरश्चाक्षरेव च शर सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थो अक्षर उच्यते उत्तमा पुरुषस्तु अन्य परमात्मेति उदारता या लोके त्रय आविश्य बिभर्ति ईश्वर यस्माक्षरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमा तोऽस्मि लोकवेदे च प्रतीता पुरुषोत्तमा यो मामेवम् असम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमां स सर्वविद भजति मां सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदमुक्तं मया नघ एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमानः स्यात् कृतकृतश्च भारत ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्म विद्याय योग शास्त्रे श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे अतः पंचदशो अध्याय श्री पुरुषोत्तम योग नाम हरे कृष्ण कृष्णा विलिंग वी विल कंटिन्यू टुमारो हरे कृष्ण श्री प्रभुपाद की जय।